Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the 17th edition of the CoveritLive University Web Series. My name is Spencer Kitley, and I'm the Customer Success Manager for CoveritLive. We appreciate you joining us today for the latest webinar on CoveritLive's most recent release that features our all-new EventDesigner and our live content walls. Before we get started, I want to provide you with a brief overview of the format of today's CoveritLive University. We expect this webinar to last about 20 to 30 minutes, and at its conclusion we will take questions which can be sent via the WebEx client chat window. Additionally, if you have questions during the presentation, you can contact us through the WebEx chat window, which can be found on the drop-down menu at the top of your screen. That's the green tab, and choose chat, and our staff members will be answering as many of your questions as possible in the chat window as the session goes on. Tomorrow this webinar will be posted on the web, where you can view it again or refer it to others. That's under CoveritLive University on CoveritLive.com. Once we have archived this edition of CILU, you will receive an email from us. I want to remind you, you can email us at any time, support@CoveritLive.com, follow us on Twitter @CoveritLive, or like us on Facebook, CoveritLive. So today, as I mentioned, we're going to be discussing two things that we're really excited about that came out in our most recent release. It's an introduction to the EventDesigner and to our live content walls. We'll be discussing how to use the EventDesigner to generate unique embed codes that allow you to easily customize your live experiences. We'll talk about how to curate social content and how to pull in your own original comments and images to display in a live content wall. We'll discuss how you set up a live content wall, and then I'll give you some ideas for things you could be doing with a live content wall, as well as look at some samples of what different people in different fields are doing with those live content walls as well. So EventDesigner largely is very similar to what you were accustomed to before when you went in to set up a CoveritLive event. There are a few nice new additions to it, and it's been reframed as this tool called EventDesigner. It builds experiences that really best fit your needs, and it gives you the option between two views. The stream which is what you're accustomed to as a traditional CoveritLive event, as well as our new live content walls, which is the tiled appearance and more resembles kind of a Pinterest look and feel, if you will. EventDesigner also allows you to customize dimensions, change the appearance, and choose which types of content you want to include in your events. You can generate multiple versions of the same embed code and display multiple views of that same event. So that's a very nice feature. I can be running my standard CoveritLive event, and I can have another version of that that's displaying as a live content wall on a different page. And by using the EventDesigner, I can pick and choose only selected types of content from my regular event that I may want to go to the live content wall, or I could have everything go out there if I choose to do so. Live content walls, as I mentioned before, that display social content, comments, images, and a whole lot more in a tiled wall format. You can see a small view of a sample here on the right side. You can showcase social media feeds. You can create a tweet wall. You may have a hashtag campaign. I'm going to show you one of those a little later on from the Kansas City Chiefs football team. And features photo-heavy content. We strongly encourage that. It's what looks best, and it's very appealing to your consumers, your customers, and anybody else looking at your live content walls. Ways to use live content walls: you may create a social hub, or you may highlight a key news story. Maybe there's a breaking news story that has some very good visual content or just a lot of content. You want to display that in kind of a unique way. Live content walls are a great way to do that. You may build a conference social wall. You see one here from Dell World. That's Dell's national conference they had just last week. They had live content walls like this one displayed all around the event, but also viewable to anyone that was unable to attend. Running a photo contest is another fun, nice way to use live content walls. showcasing game day highlights. And that may not just be what's going on at a sporting event inside the stadium. That may be what's going on in the stands. That may be what's going on at tailgates prior to the game. So it may be the whole atmosphere around a sporting event. You may use this to promote a product launch. Maybe you're a big electronics company or some other type of company. You have this great new product coming out. There's a lot of interest, and you want to really reach out to people and display this in this unique way. Live content walls will do that for you. Build brand awareness. Just anything you can to build your brand. I know a lot of news organizations now are reporting from red carpet events at award shows, and what better way to display that highly visual type of content than a live content wall. And kind of a unique use case would be creating digital signage. Maybe you're a retailer, maybe you're a brand, and you want people to kind of in store see what's going on. Another way that live content walls can be used. And how do you create a content wall? It's really easy. I'm going to show you in just a moment. But you choose the dimensions, you toggle the display settings, and you can customize the experience. You select the content types, maybe that's CoveritLive comments, maybe that's CoveritLive images, Twitter content, Instagram, Wikipedia, RSS feeds, reader comments. And again, just a tip, but post and include images. That's what looks absolutely best on the wall. You can see it here. It's a red carpet from the American Music Awards. And before we get into the live demo, I want to remind you, we've reminded you a couple times, but in less than a month now, the Event Studio will be your only back-end producer option. The classic CoveritLive console will be going away on January 15th. So hopefully you have been familiarizing yourself with the Event Studio. I think once you get in there, you'll be very happy with what you find. It's a robust set of features that aren't available in the old classic console. So looking forward to everybody seeing the new Event Studio and everybody getting familiar with that. So I'm going to hop over into a live demo. And so everybody is familiar with setting up a CoveritLive event. So here I am. I've done the initial steps of setting up my event. It's going to be a ticker. I've given it a name. And all of this looks very familiar to you until I get down here. And here's the EventDesigner. I have two options, and you see I can choose between a stream or a wall, which is the live content wall we've been talking about. For the stream, very similar, very much the same as what you've been accustomed to. I have the option to choose between adding a fixed height, a fixed width. I can turn on 100% width if I want to have support for responsive design. Same time, it's a really nice experience if you turn on infinite height as well. It really looks more native to your screen instead of being in the boxed-in iframe. And of course, you have the options to turn on the title page, turn on or off the pin board that surfaces at the top of the viewer window. I can elect to have my new entry surface on top, my new entry surface on the bottom. I can choose a skin, and then I grab my embed code, same as always. Or I can go now to the new wall. This looks familiar as well. I can choose a fixed width. I can choose a fixed height. I can turn on 100% width to access that responsive design where it automatically fits to the space that's been set aside for the event. And infinite height. Infinite height is very important for the live content wall if you want to have a wall that doesn't have a scroll bar. So I'm going to also show you real quickly just a couple samples of different ways. These are some, I think they're all archived now, but different things that people are doing. This is Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, San Jose Sharks. And they've used the the new embed code here for an infinite height event. They've also chosen their desired width, or maybe 100% width. They're also, just going to point out, really nice use of our new replies feature that we discussed in our last CoveritLive University session. Very easy to do, and it's a nice look and feel for a question and answer way it pairs it in that threaded format. Another use case, this is CTV in Canada, their amazing race page. They just have a little widget built over on the side, just pulling in some Twitter content with CoveritLive. So that's an option to you as well. And this is a big event for Bild.de, German publisher. Their coverage of the Bundesliga football or soccer league. And they have this nice custom implementation here on the right side. It's not infinite scroll, but obviously they've bought themselves a lot more real estate by choosing their specific width and height. So you can fit CoveritLive into any place, no matter how big or small on your website, and those are just options to you. Back here, talking about the wall, I had mentioned before, hey, I can have my stream running, or I can have my wall running. I could have the same event going to both. And on the wall, I can come through here, and I can pick and choose what types of content I want to show up on my wall. If I don't want anything other than images and Twitter and Instagram, I can absolutely do that. Maybe I only want it to be comments. You can absolutely have comments on there. It's not like your run-of-the-mill social media wall. That's what sets CoveritLive apart. You can bring in so many different things, including those original pieces of content. I'm going to show you quickly here an example. This is a mock page for the NFL fan wall. Looks like a standard CoveritLive event. They are using the infinite height and the 100% width on this page. Looks great. Same event right here, but it's being displayed as a live content wall. Both experiences in this instance are pulling in all types of content. Scroll down here, you can see a comment that I published earlier with an answer. At the same time, you can find that right over here. Not sure how far down, but it's here in this event as well. So now I want to show you just kind of how this works. I'm going to hop into the Event Studio, and I'm going to look at some comments that are coming in. I have a question from Dave that when is the Super Bowl? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reply to that. I'd give an answer if I knew the answer, but it's in February. I'm going to go ahead and publish that as a reply. You can see here, question and answer on threaded format. Pulls up here in my stream event, and then also publishes right here at the top of my fan wall. So really nice way to be able to pull in that content, not just being social content. Also wanted to add that you can further customize the layout of your live content walls by linking a custom style sheet. Now, if you want any more information on CSS, feel free to reach out to our team, support@covertlive.com. We'll be happy to help you getting anything done with that further customization. Also wanted to show you, if you're not familiar with the CoveritLive blog, it's a great resource that lives right on the CoveritLive homepage. I myself, I write a lot of the content for the blog. Recently, we posted one about live content walls in the EventDesigner, so if you want to learn more about what we're talking about here, go over to the blog, check that out. You may want to check out some other things as well. Additionally, a lot of good information on uses of the live content walls is available to you in the support center. So if you go to the support center on CoveritLive.com, type in live content walls, it's going to bring you right here to this page. Information on how to get started, 10 great ways of kind of showcasing content in a live content wall, and just some really valuable information on how it all works. Now I want to go ahead and transition into showing you, I showed you this NFL example. Now I want to show you some examples of what other people are doing with live content walls really around the world. I mentioned earlier the Kansas City Chiefs. They did this actually last Friday, started their hashtag Red Friday campaign and pulled in pictures of their fans wearing different pieces of apparel for the Kansas City Chiefs, posted those under this nice wall. And it paid off well for the Chiefs. They had great turnout, and then they had great results on Sunday, clinching a playoff spot. As I mentioned before, here's the Dell World wall. It's a little overrun now since the conference is over with just standard tweets. But if we scroll down a little, you start seeing photos that were part of the CoveritLive live content wall at Dell World. So pretty cool stuff. You can see that infinite height, 100% width on this. Another sample here from Comcast Sports Northeast. Nice job there, just pulling in tweets. Nice way of displaying those to all their fans. And this is something really cool. This is really the very first use of live content walls in AZ Central, Arizona Republic, and Phoenix did a great job with this. Chihuly, the glass blowing artist whose art decorates the Bellagio Hotel and a number of other places, he had this great display going on in Arizona. And what better way to display it than in a live content wall? They're pulling in content from Instagram, they're pulling in content from Twitter. They are using a set height here, so you do see the scroll bar on the right side. And obviously you can tell that the content with the photos does seem to be much more valuable and enticing. They also went a little more hyper local with their coverage of one of their local bands marching in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And it's a small content wall, short height, small width, but it does the job. It's for what they're doing here, and it's a nice look and feel. A wider look and feel similar to that of the Dell World. This is TechCrunch over in Russia, running a CoveritLive live content wall for their conference. More local news here. I believe this is San Antonio, Texas, local news station. Just aggregating relevant breaking news content from their area in a 2-column, fixed height live content wall. And then one more sample here. This is EDU systems. And again, they're using fixed height and width on theirs, which may not be the best experience, but it lets you see the different ways that you can take advantage of the live content walls. So I'll hop back over to the slideshow. Wanted to remind you again, I brought this up a second ago, but Support Center is a very, very valuable resource to you for anything CoveritLive related. Anytime you have a question, just type into the search. Should have some good info, maybe several pages of information that are helpful for you to help you with your question. But by all means, you can also email us at support@CoveritLive.com for more information on other things. Follow us on Twitter at CoveritLive, like us on Facebook, CoveritLive, and also check out that blog I was talking about. There's a lot of good use cases, best practices, and just overall feature information. So now, if you would take the time to send in any questions that you have, myself and David Glenn, our account director, are going to be addressing any questions that you have as those come in. Also, I wanted you do that at the top of the screen. Click on the green tab, click on the chat window, and you can send those in there. Also, I want to remind you, our next CoveritLive University session, Thursday, January 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't have the topic just yet for that, but stay tuned for information on what we will be discussing. That'll be available to you on CoveritLive.com under the CoveritLive University tab. We'll also be sending out a mailer closer to that time, probably about 2 weeks in advance. So any questions? So David's passing along the question. Question is, are live content walls included on every subscription plan, and is there an extra cost? Live content walls are absolutely included on every plan. Just the same thing as I showed you. Hop into the EventDesigner; they're available to you. Take advantage of those as much and as often as you like, in the same way that you use regular CoveritLive events. Just saw a question come in from Rob Beer. He was asking about creating a standard stream as well as a live content wall at the same time. And as I mentioned earlier, yeah, you can absolutely do that. I may be running a live blog of some breaking news event, and I want to pull out certain pieces of that into a live content wall for display. So like I said earlier, maybe I just want to have my comments in my stream and not have them on my wall. I can select that when I set up the event. So anything is really available to you. CIL comments, CIL images, RSS feeds, Wikipedia, Twitter, Instagram, and user comments. They can go to both, or they can not go to both. It just depends on how you want to slice that up. Any other questions? Apologies, that last question was from Elgin, and it wasn't from Rob Beer. Yeah, we had a question coming in from Herb. It was, are you planning on adding Facebook as an additional content source to the event studio? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Our next release, Facebook will become a searchable content source in the event studio, much the same way that you search Twitter and Instagram and YouTube now from the event studio. Facebook will be available to you. We're also planning in the new year to continue to pursue more sources of content to pull in, whether that's things like Tumblr or other pieces of social content. We're absolutely very dedicated to looking into those and picking and choosing the best way to pull in content and give you the most flexible options as you can with your CoveritLive experiences. So we'll leave just a few more seconds for anyone that has further questions. All right, well, thank you again for joining us at the 17th edition of the CoveritLive University Web Series. Reminder, next session, Thursday, January 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Topic is TBA. But for now, happy holidays to everyone. Have a great holiday season. We will see you in the new year. Thanks again.